Hello folks, welcome to the channel. My name is Carlos, and honestly, just go buy this watch, because this watch is awesome. Let's get into the details. So this is the Mido Multifort TV Big Date in titanium. To be completely honest, the TV Big Date is a particular watch that we've reviewed on the channel, and it's one of those watches that is basically perfect. It has an incredibly classy and timeless design. It offers a very nice high horology complication on the Big Date, and for everything that it brings to the table is priced absolutely fantastic. And just when you thought this particular watch could not be any better, boom, they slap you in the face with this grade 2 titanium version. But before we get too far into this review, I do want to take a second to thank the good folks over at Mido who lent me this watch for the purpose of this review. I do not get to keep this watch. This watch will be going back to Mido at the end of this review, and everything that you hear will basically be my uncensored opinions. So with all of that said, let's get into the fit and finish of this watch, starting with the case. As implied by the TV branding of this model, this particular design does draw inspiration from the engineering and design of televisions from the 60s and 70s, sort of think Americana, Norman Rockwell kind of thing. And this becomes incredibly evident when we first look at the case, which has a very nice traditional square design. Usually Mido would put polished edges on every single angle of the case, but this one actually has been very nicely rounded off on all the edges, giving the overall case a very sharp yet somewhat soft, elegant design. Being that this is a sports watch, the watch does feature a screw-down crown that's been signed with the Mido branding, and it does have very robust crown protectors on both sides of the crown, which have the same satination finish as the rest of the case. Moving on to the bezel is literally the type of bezel that you will see on an old school television, featuring a polished mirror finish all on the side of the bezel with vertical radial brushing on the flat top of the bezel. To bring the bezel into the entire TV theme, we do find some very interesting wings at the 6 and 12 o'clock of the bezel, and a 12 o'clock dintent, which in my mind represents the power button or the power light of an old school TV set. Moving into the dial, this particular watch features the horizontally lined dial that has already become the standard for the TV lineup. Well, one of the things that is different and very unique about the dial is that this time they decided not to put a fume finish on it, and the dial is also 100% sort of silver metallic, which gives this particular watch a look that really does break away from its other counterparts. Just as other TV Big Dates, the markers are those loom plots that have been nicely embedded into the dial, with the dial having this really cool sort of satellite dish indents that host the loom plots, giving the markers a vibe that is very similar to that of a sandwich dial. On the outside border of the dial, we will see a classic train track that has markings to be able to read the progression of minutes more easily. At the 12 o'clock, we see the star complication, which is that Big Date complication, which is absolutely amazing, with a black background and white numerals, and the individual windows for each digit that are very reminiscent of more prestigious horological companies such as a Lang & Söhne. Right underneath the Big Date, we'll see the Mido branding along with the word automatic, and right on top of the 6 o'clock marker, we will see the Multifort branding. As far as the hands go, the hands are very simple 60s inspired baton style hands. The hands are polished, and we get a pretty decent amount of loom on both the hour and the minute hands. Wrapping up the top part of the watch, we have a flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective on both sides, which helps keep reflections to a minimum and gives us an uninterrupted look directly into this beautiful Big Date complication. Turning the watch around, we will see a see-through case back that gives us a very cool look into the Powermatic movement powering this watch. And we will also notice that the particular case back for this watch is not a screw case back, but is one that is actually held down by 4 screws, which is a welcome detail to this particular watch, which makes it feel a little bit more vintage. This particular watch does ship with an amazing, super light and comfortable titanium bracelet. And one thing to know about the TV bracelet is that, in my opinion, at the price range, this is the absolutely best bracelet you can get, as it features H-style links, meaning that the center links and the outside links are completely independent of each other, giving you maximum flexibility. The bracelet is absolutely beautifully satinized. The center links are polished, but they are also very nicely bubbled and rounded at the corners, giving this bracelet a very unique and complicated yet very soft, subtle, and elegant design that not only is it very unique, but it's just unmatched by any other brand at this particular price range. This particular bracelet does have a butterfly clasp. The butterfly clasp itself is beautifully milled, and for those that are worried that butterfly design is not going to give them a lot of flexibility when it comes to sizing, it is important to note that this particular bracelet does offer two mini links right next to the clasp that do lend themselves really well to giving you more fine adjustment over getting that perfect fit. All right, so let's get into the nerdy aspect of this review and talk about the accuracy. I was able to put this watch through my usual 6-position test on my time grapher, and this watch, not surprisingly, did incredibly well, with the slowest position being -3 seconds and the fastest position being only 5 seconds, meaning that like the overall time discrepancy between the fastest position and the slowest position is just 8 seconds. After averaging all of those positions, we get our estimated average daily deviation, which is going to be plus 1.3 seconds per day. So obviously this is not a cost certified watch, but it comes running incredibly well out of the box. And this is not surprising because most of the Mido watches that I've tested and I reviewed on this channel have always done incredibly well on the accuracy testing. All right, so with accuracy out of the way, let's talk about pricing of the TV Big Date. So this particular version of the TV Big Date is listed at $1,580 on the Mido website. And I do want to give a little shout out to Teddy Baldassar, as I believe that he is the only one that has access to this particular watch at the moment. So if you're in the US and you want to buy it, Teddy Baldassar will probably be your best bet. And it might be a couple of months before other ADs start carrying this particular model. But the important question is, how does this watch compare to other watches at a similar price range? And the reality for me is that like, I don't think there's anything on the price range that is going to give you all of the things that the Mido TV Big Date gives you. For basically $1,500, it's giving you vintage design. And yes, you can find other watches like the PRX or the Christopher Ward 12 or even the Yema Traveler that have that vintage design. It's giving you an incredibly nicely sized case at 40 millimeters with 11.5 millimeters of thickness. Yes, you can get watches that are just as thin, but what this watch really offers is an incredibly accurate movement, a beautiful Big Date complication that you're not gonna see anywhere else, and a vintage design that is not quite the same cookie cutter integrated bracelet that we've basically seen every other brand put out, and instead have something that's a little bit more elegant, more rounded, and honestly a little bit more classical, and will probably become an even better deal the longer that it's out on the market. Okay, so let's wrap up this review with likes and dislikes. Starting with likes, this is a watch that I like a lot. I was already a big fan of the Mido Multifort TV Big Date. I recently also reviewed the chronograph version that just came out a couple of months ago, and those watches were amazing on their own right. But honestly, I hadn't held the regular TV Big Date in a while, and I kind of forgot just how good and perfectly sized this particular case is. And this is gonna sound really silly, but the other thing that I forgot is just how incredibly rewarding it is to change the date on this watch and watch this little magical trick sort of effect happen in front of your eyes of how the date switches. This is something that's very unique and very incredibly simple yet beautiful about this particular watch. So getting this titanium version in with this incredible metallic dial, it was kind of a slap on the face, reminding me of just like what an incredible knockout this particular watch is. And I do think that the metallic dial is a phenomenal addition. It just looks super classy. It sort of simplifies the watch a little bit, making it that much more subtle and elegant. And the introduction of using titanium just makes this watch so incredibly comfortable to use because it's actually lighter than its predecessor. And the TV Big Date was never a watch that I found to be particularly heavy, but at the same time, wearing the titanium version, composition. I mean, it's just so freaking comfortable. You basically just have less mass on your wrist, which means that even if you don't wear the watch super tight, it just stays put. As far as dislikes, this is gonna sound very cowardly of me, but this is the first time where I don't really have any dislikes. I always felt like the TV Big Date was kind of Mido's best work, where everything really just aligned and came together to just make the perfect sort of watch and package. And this metallic dial with a combination of the watch being a lot lighter using titanium, it's just hard to find fault. So the only thing that I might be able to say, and this is the same sort of missed opportunity that I mentioned on my original TV Big Date, is that I would love to see lume on the Big Date complication itself. I think that is something that would be absolutely mind-blowing, and Mido has not done that yet, but this metallic dial and the use of titanium definitely feel like an incredible upgrade to an already fantastic watch. All right, folks, so that's pretty much it for this review. Let me know how you guys feel about the TV Big Date. Is this a watch that you're looking to get? Are you one of those folks that feels like this watch is a little too much like a Patek Philippe and that feels a little sinful to you? Or do you feel that with all of these different variations and changes and upgrades that Mido is doing to the lineup, that the Mido TV Big Date is fully standing on its own? I know that I definitely feel that way. Please go ahead and leave me a comment with your thoughts. I love talking to you guys on the comments. I feel like I learned so much about watches just from the conversations that we have. And if you like this video, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell every time that one of you guys subscribes to the channel. It really encourages me to continue to make these videos. So it's something that I'm very grateful every time you guys subscribe to the channel. With all of that said, thank you so much for watching this review all the way to the end, and I really hope to see you on the next video. Until next time, see ya.